Hello and welcome to Lorbeck Luxury Cars. I'm Harry, and on this edition of the Friday Drive, I have for you this, our 2002 Mercedes-Benz CL55 AMG. Now, before you accuse me of getting sloppy by taking out a 20-year-old Mercedes for a Friday drive, you might want to know a little bit more about this car, because this is in fact one of the rarest Mercs ever delivered new into Australia. So let me pull over and show you why. And outside is much like what you'd expect from an AMG of this period. We've got, the rakish good looks, the quad headlights, which was typical of Mercedes-Benz at the time, and all the usual AMG styling. But stepping back inside, there's more two-tone leather than you can poke a stick at, and it has all the usual luxuries, like the timber everywhere and the heated and cooled massage seats. But stepping back outside, some of the more eagle-eye viewers of you might have already noticed something missing from the front guard here, but this is no mistake. And that's because under the bonnet here is the usual 5.4 litre Mercedes-Benz V8, which is the same basic engine that we find in the SLR McLaren. But in this, the difference is that this is in fact naturally aspirated. The naturally aspirated CL55 was produced for only about a year or so the net result of the extremely short production run is only 2,217 of these were ever built, and only a handful ever made it to Australia. But inside, it's typical Mercedes. It's quiet, it's comfortable, it's got all the kits, we've got the rear blinds and all the other bits and pieces that I've mentioned before. And it gives you, well, when you put the foot down, the proper AMG experience, but in a more mature and civilized way than we're sort of used to. The reality is, rare Mercedes, especially from the early 2000s, are on the way up. Only a few years ago, no one had any interest in them, but with so many ending up in the scrap yards or driven into the ground, very few remain in good condition with low kilometres. And this example with under 100,000 Ks is exactly as you'd expect. It still feels fresh as a daisy and tight as a drum. And even though Mercs from this period were often accused of having very poor build quality, you couldn't say that about this car with the benefit of hindsight. It's got no squeaks or rattles, and everything in here still looks like it did when it when it left the factory. You could go as far to say that it's completely Mickey Mouse in here. So if you are in the market for one of the rarest Mercs in Australia, with all the bells and whistles, and on the way up in terms of value, then come down to Lorbeck Luxury Cars and invest in our pristine, naturally aspirated CL55 AMG today. We'll see you next week.